What's up, you guys? It's Tori here, and can't remember the last time I've said that. It feels good to be back in front of a camera and getting on YouTube for you guys to do a video and, just kind of like recap the year. It's been an interesting one, hasn't it, 2020? And I have quite a bit of thoughts on, the status of the music industry as somebody who loves and supports music, as well as wanting to talk about some of my favorite music that I've enjoyed this year. I think it's an industry that's been really hard hit, and it's been one of the most needed for our mental health and one of the least appreciated as well. We've seen a lot of artists as well as a lot of their crew take a huge hit. So first of all, sending all of my good energy to you guys that are in this industry. And anything we can do to support buying merch, streaming the music, purchasing the music as well, If someone's doing an online live stream, get on there, buy a ticket. We want to keep this industry alive so that we have something to come back to. With that being said, there's been some really great music released this year, and I did want to talk a little bit about what I've enjoyed listening to. I will say my music taste has changed quite a bit this year, as well as the landscape has changed. So first and foremost, let's talk about a couple of the girl pop heroes of 2020. I think this has been on a lot of people's most played of this year, and Spotify was really loud to tell me that I loved Dua Lipa, Future Nostalgia this year. So I will say I think that's been one of my favorite albums. It came out at the perfect time when things really started to take a hit. We first started going into quarantine. It was around March, and it was something to pick us up. It was like some fun disco dance music, and Dua Lipa did it, man. It was awesome. And then on the other side of the spectrum, Halsey also had released her album Manic this year, and that was a more introspective take on the girl pop, but also equally needed. I just thought it was kind of like poetry set to pop music, and Halsey did such a beautiful job, and that really was the first album of Halsey's that I personally really loved, so that's been a favorite as well. Also, Taylor Swift, man. What a hero. Released 2 albums this year, Folklore and Evermore, both of which got me right in the feelings the way Taylor Swift knows best. So I really didn't like too much of when she started going down the really heavy pop route, so now kind of getting back to her roots and doing this kind of music has been so beautiful. I loved her collaboration with The National. I think that might be my favorite that she's done, as well as Folklore in general, start to finish. That's a beautiful album. So definitely one of those rainy walks, sit and look at the clouds kind of albums. So on that spectrum as well, I've also really enjoyed Miley Cyrus's album that just came out. She's gone full rock star on us. She's got Joan Jett on the album and a couple other really amazing collaborations, and she's just gotten really raunchy, really raw, and I loved, she had said in an interview that she kind of looks at her lyrics like catching fireflies in a jar, and I think that made her cold-blooded lyrics make a little more sense. She was saying how it's almost like she's capturing an emotion that she's feeling at the time, but not that it necessarily defines her. And I thought that was a really cool way, not only to look at artists in the way that they write their music, but also us in the way that we can look at our own thoughts. So Miley did a beautiful job of capturing that notion into her music. So as far as girl pop goes, what a year it was, and those were definitely some of my big favorites. So then getting more into the rock music, because I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, Warped Tori's listening to pop now? And yes I am, but I've also really enjoyed some good rock music this year. I think there's been some really solid releases. So first of all, Bring Me the Horizon. I feel like I don't need to delve too far into this. Y'all know I've always loved Bring Me the Horizon, and I loved that they started the album with something heavy. It appeased me as the Suicide Season fan and Sempiternal fan to hear some heavier side of it, and the Baby Metal collaboration. It was mental. So Bring Me the Horizon doing what they do best, knocking my socks off. And speaking of knocking my socks off, another album that I really loved this year was Boston Manor, Glue. Really big 90s rock influence there, and if you think of, I remember when I met Boston Manor when they did Warped Tour, 2017? They were a full-on pop punk band. So to see what they're doing now, they've just completely changed the game, shaped themselves into a completely different band, but it seems more authentic. It seems more of like the music they actually really enjoy making, and the creativity and the beautiful lyrics as well. Glue's unmatched as far as their previous releases go. So amazing work on their end, and really an unappreciated album that deserved a lot more recognition this year. Also, Deftones released Ohms. I've always been a huge Deftones fan, and this was just a really solid release from them. It's cool to hear something new from them as well, because I always go back to the same couple of albums from them, you know? So to get some new music from them was really great this year, and they hyped that album up, and it deserved all the hype it got. And last but not least, as far as the rock albums that I really enjoyed this year, Poppy, I disagree. Poppy, it took me a hot minute to get into her music, but once I did, oh, I was in. She did a really cool collaboration with Grimes. And what I think is kind of cool is we always think about like women in rock music and how it always has to be like this feminine touch to it. And although Poppy has that, she does it in a way that's so authentic that you're like, man, this is like aggressive. You know, it's not like, oh, this is a woman in rock. This is just rock. You know, she's gone full metal, but also with, you know, a really cool perspective. So I think Poppy's done an amazing job of being kind of groundbreaking in the rock world, and it's really cool to see a woman just owning it. And regardless of gender, it's just incredible music, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And then a couple on the alternative side of things, I have really gotten into Lainey this year. I more so liked their album Malibu Nights, but the one that they released this year has also been really good. I love the single You from that one. That was one of my most played on my Spotify recap, as well as Paris coming at us with some new music as well, and they did an amazing job. I know they spent a super long time working on their album, and the love and hard work definitely shows on that one. So I've definitely been enjoying some Paris again, and it's kind of nice to hear some new music from them, because I loved when they came out with White Noise. What was that, 2015? So it's been a while. So been a Paris fan for a hot minute, and they just keep on coming with the hits. So that's just like a super brief rundown of the music that I liked this year, but really I've been listening to a lot of stuff that did not come out in 2020. I've been going back into some deep cuts, so my music taste has been all over the place this year, but as far as things that came out in 2020, those were my favorites. But really, like I said, it's such an important and just pivotal time for us to support music in any way we can. Buy merch, even just liking a tweet, liking a post from a band, resharing anything, whatever we can do to support music right now. I know that it's insanely important, and I hope you guys are all out there doing your part for whatever artists you love and want to see continue when we do get out of this mess that we are in at the moment, for lack of better words. But anyways, it's been cool catching up with you guys. I'm hoping that when music comes back, festivals come back, and live music is a thing again, that I can get back out there and do some video blogs for you guys, and who knows what this YouTube channel has to come, but I know I'm not done quite yet. And I'd love to hear from you guys on what you've been up to this year, what music you've been loving, so hit me with your top 5 favorite albums of 2020, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye!